This video is for educational purposes only, not medical advice. Always consult your doctor before making any dietary or lifestyle changes. There is a product at your grocery store right now selling for $12 a carton. It comes in a sleek package. It has a clean label. Influencers drink it on Instagram. Your health-conscious friends swear by it. It is called bone broth, and the food industry would very much like you to keep buying it. Here is the thing they are not telling you: what you are paying $12 for. Your great-grandmother made for free every single week from scraps. And hers was better, not a little better, significantly better. Because what she made, the way people have made it for 3,000 years, contains something the carton version is specifically designed not to contain, because it would make the product too difficult to ship, too hard to standardize, and far too cheap to sell at a premium. I will tell you exactly what that is in a moment. But first, I need you to understand what is actually happening in your joints, your skin, and your bones after 60, because once you see it, the rest of this will make complete sense. If you are new here, subscribe to Ancestral Fix. Every week, we find what the ancient world knew and what your body still needs. Stay with me. After 60, your body's ability to produce collagen declines noticeably compared to your younger years. Collagen is not just a skincare word. It is the structural protein that holds your body together. It is in your joints, the cartilage that cushions bone against bone. It is in your gut lining. It is in your arteries. It is in your skin. It is in your bones themselves. Collagen production naturally slows with age, and by the time most people reach their 60s, they're working with meaningfully less of it than they had in their 30s and 40s. This is why joints ache, why skin thins, why wounds heal more slowly, why bones become more fragile. It is not just aging in the abstract. It is a specific, gradual decline in one protein. And here is where it gets interesting. Your body can rebuild collagen. It needs raw materials to do it. Specific amino acids called glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline. These are not common in modern diets. They are not in chicken breast. They are not in protein powder. They are not in most of what people over 60 eat every day. But they are abundant in one place: connective tissue, cartilage, bone marrow, the parts of the animal that your great-grandmother cooked for hours until they gave everything they had into the liquid. The ancient world called it soup. We call it bone broth. And the version the ancient world made is not what you are buying in a carton. In 1 Kings chapter 19, the prophet Elijah collapses in the wilderness, exhausted and ready to die. An angel touches him and says, "Arise and eat." And there beside him is a warm meal, freshly prepared, a cake baked on coals, and a jar of water. Biblical scholars and food historians who have studied ancient Israelite diet consistently note that the standard restorative meal of this period would have included a slow-cooked broth, bones simmered for hours with herbs and salt, producing a rich liquid dense with minerals and gelatin. This was not a luxury. This was medicine. Not the kind that comes in a bottle, the kind that comes from knowing what the body needs and giving it exactly that. In Job chapter 21, the marrow of bones is used as a metaphor for the richest, most nourishing substance imaginable. The ancient world understood intuitively that the inside of a bone contained something vital. Modern nutritional science now knows exactly what that something is. Bone marrow is rich in collagen precursors and lipids that are generally associated with supporting joint and bone health. What the ancient world reached for instinctively is something modern nutrition research is still actively studying today. Here is what the broader research generally points to, and why the carton version is not giving you what you think it is. Several published studies on collagen peptide supplementation in adults with joint discomfort have found it associated with reduced joint pain and improved mobility over a period of months. Other nutrition research looking at collagen intake in older adults has pointed to a supportive role in cartilage health. This is an active area of ongoing research, and results vary between studies, but the general direction is consistent enough that it's worth taking seriously. And here is the problem with commercial bone broth. To survive on a shelf or in a carton, commercial bone broth is processed at temperatures and speeds that denature much of the collagen. What remains is a diluted, standardized liquid that may taste like broth, but delivers a fraction of the gelatin and collagen precursors that slow-simmered, homemade broth contains. How do you know if your broth has real collagen? Simple. Put it in the refrigerator overnight. Real bone broth gels. It turns semi-solid, like a loose jelly. That gel is collagen. If it stays liquid, it was not simmered long enough, or it was processed in a way that destroyed what you were paying for. Most commercial bone broth stays liquid. Does that change how you feel about that $12 carton? Good, because what you are about to learn costs almost nothing. So why did we stop making it ourselves? For most of human history, nothing was wasted. The bones from a roasted chicken, the carcass from a Sunday dinner, the leftover joints and knuckles from a cut of beef, all of it went into a pot with water and whatever herbs were growing nearby. It simmered overnight, or all day. The longer it cooked, the more it gave. Then came the 20th century and the industrialization of food. Boneless, skinless chicken breast became the default protein, convenient, clean, photogenic. The carcass went in the bin, the knuckles went to pet food, the collagen-rich parts of the animal that generations of people had valued most were quietly reclassified as waste. And then decades later, the food industry packaged that waste, put it in a carton, called it a superfood, and sold it back to us at $12 a liter. Your great-grandmother would have found this baffling. She made broth from what would have otherwise been thrown away. She made it on Sundays for the week. She gave it to anyone in the family who was unwell. She did not call it a superfood. She called it soup. And she knew, without reading a single study, that it made people stronger. Now let me give you something you can actually make this week. 3 ways to bring real collagen-rich broth back into your life. The first is the simplest version. After your next roast chicken, do not throw away the carcass. Put it in a large pot. Cover it with cold water. Add a splash of apple cider vinegar. This helps draw minerals out of the bones. Add half an onion, a few garlic cloves, a carrot, a stick of celery, salt, and whatever herbs you have. Bring it to a simmer, then reduce the heat to the lowest setting. Cover and leave it for at least 6 hours. 12 is better. Overnight is best. Strain it, let it cool. Put it in the fridge. If it gels, you did it right. That gel is collagen. It costs you nothing but time. The second way is to use beef knuckle bones or marrow bones from the butcher. Ask for them specifically. Most butchers sell them for almost nothing. They are considered a byproduct. Roast them in the oven for 30 minutes first, then transfer to a pot and follow the same process. Simmer for at least 12 hours, up to 24. The result is a dark, rich, intensely flavored broth that gels firmly in the refrigerator. 1 cup of this per day, warmed and seasoned with a little salt and fresh herbs, is one of the simplest ways to bring more of these nutrients into your routine after 60. The third way is collagen peptide powder for days when you cannot make broth. Look for grass-fed bovine collagen peptides, hydrolyzed, with no added ingredients. 1 to 2 tablespoons dissolved in warm water, coffee, or soup. Many of the studies in this area have generally used somewhere in the range of 10 to 15 grams per day. And speak with your doctor. If you have kidney issues, higher protein intake is something to discuss with them first. The Lord God put man in the garden to work it and keep it. Genesis 2 verse 15. The bones have always been there. The pot has always been on the stove. The knowledge was never gone. It just stopped being passed down. Do not overthink this. Save the next carcass. Put it in a pot. Walk away for 12 hours. People have been doing this since before the Bible was written. You will be fine. I have left a link in the description to the grass-fed collagen peptide powder I personally recommend for days when a pot on the stove is not practical. 1 ingredient. Third-party, tested. The link is in the description. I only recommend things I would give to my own family. $12 a carton. Processed at high heat. Stays liquid in the fridge. A fraction of the collagen your body actually needs. Or a chicken carcass, a pot of cold water, 12 hours, and something that gels solid overnight. One of those was good enough for Elijah in the wilderness. The other was invented a few decades ago to make money. Your great-grandmother knew which one worked. She made it every week without ever once calling it a superfood. The bones are still there. The pot is still on the stove. It has been here the whole time. Subscribe to Ancestral for facts. Because next time we look at a biblical grain that has traditionally been associated with steadier blood sugar for thousands of years. Almost nobody over 60 is eating it, and it costs less than the bread you already buy. Save the bones. Go make something.